Hello, everyone. Welcome to another recap chat. 90 Day the Other Way. 90 Day Fiance, for those of you that don't know, is a reality show based on a couple or a number of couples. One person is from the US, the other is from another country. They combine their lives together. You get to see their relationship issues. You get to see the good and the bad, the ugly. You get to see different cultural differences, language barriers, all these things that can get in the way of the relationship working. You get to see, the process of being engaged, getting married in a country that is not your own, and all of the legal implications of that. It is 90 Day Fiance. There's many spin-offs, and this one is the other way. And that's usually when the US partner goes with their partner to their country. So they leave the US, go to another country, and they have to learn all about that and live a completely new lifestyle. And that's the premise of The Other Way. So let's get into these couples as this season has begun. Shekinah and Sarper are back, and Shekinah's going back to see her boo. He's claimed to be nearly a priest. He's been a saint when it comes to his fidelity with her, even though his past is 2,500 women. He's now living the life of a priest, is what he claims, as he's waiting for Shekinah to return. They're planning on doing the 90-day process and getting the K1 visa so that he can come to the US. Um, Shekinah's bringing her dog. So he feels like that's a big deal. That's like her baby, even though she does have an actual teenage child. But he said he's more of a cat guy. And then he has a whole explanation of what a cat guy is. Cat guys, bad boys are cat guys. They prefer cats versus dogs because it's less maintenance, less work. This is the thought of a bad boy. I don't know if I completely agree with that assessment of what a cat guy is. I think a lot of bad boy players probably don't want any pets, I would assume. But I just liked his explanation of what a cat man is. So now if you meet a guy that has cats, he may be one of those bad boy types. Just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, this is a special bottle collection that he has. Besides the 2,500 women he recorded down on paper, he has a bottle collection where each bottle represents a woman that he's been with. It looks like a lot of liquor bottles to me. I guess he thinks it's fancy. It looks like a liquor cabinet, basically. But she kind of thinks he's going to get rid of this. She walks into his place. She's arrived at his country for one. He's boo-hooing. He's showing her all this love. He's being Mr. Sensitive Man, missing his bae. But when she walks in and sees all of the bottles that he was supposed to get rid of, she's not feeling too about this at this point. She's not feeling too happy about her return to see her man. So let's go to another couple that has returned to 90 Day franchise, Dempsey and Statler. Dempsey and Statler are back together. We were unsure if they were gonna they never really left each other, but it was, you know, questions up in the air. Were they gonna last? Were they gonna work? Was it gonna happen? Because they were in another season and franchise of 90 Day, but looks like they are together. They're still together, and they have a plan to live in a camper van. Isn't that fun? But Statler has a lot going on. Statler has ADHD and autism and was diagnosed at age 30. But Statler also has some good things going. Um, she has a great job that she can work remotely. So she's up for living this camper lifestyle with Dempsey. And they're just going to kind of travel the world and be vagabonds together. maybe that's not the right word, but I just like the word vagabond. Um, Hobo, something. It's in along those lines. No hate to hobos. Love to all people that decide to travel and live their life that way. And I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong wording. Please tell me your thoughts on how I'm explaining this. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. But basically, Statler is used to having things in a certain order. And Dempsey's kind of like, yeah, I just go with the flow of nature. She was out there picking, I believe Dempsey was out there picking berries and foraging in the woods. So, two very different mindsets. Most of us are like Statler, even though Statler does have ADHD and autism. And there are a number of people that have that and was also diagnosed late in life. But there were signs earlier on in life that Statler saw, but diagnosed later in life. And it was like a light bulb moment once the diagnosis was there. But most of us are like used to having a schedule, used to having things set in a certain order. It's called stability. And most of us probably want to be like Statler and not so much like Dempsey. But there's some of you out there that like to live on the edge. But um, I see people living on the edge in certain areas of their life, but just to live actually on the edge of different towns, cities in a van, I don't see much of that. But I hope it works out. That's their big dilemma. So for them to have that issue, seems a little small in the whole scheme of things. Not really sure if it's that entertaining at this time. If I'm in to watch this little travel excursion, but I guess I'm in because I'm reporting to you guys the information as I cover this franchise. Now, in this episode was also James and Tata. We are back with them. Tata has to return to her country of Indonesia because of her health issues living. I believe that they live in Maine. They've actually been married for a couple of years, but James wants to go back with his wife because of her health issues. He doesn't want to leave her. The whole issue of children has been up in the air, and the fact that they can't bring their dog Jojo right now to Indonesia for customs reasons. Tata's just really emotional and like not really happy with the way she has to depart. He hasn't told his family that he's leaving as well, and they're supposed to be in the banana chip business with her family once he comes to Indonesia. But she kind of drops the info on them that they're not going to be really making money. They're going to have to get their own banana tree and sell their own chips on some type of commission basis. And, it's going to be a lot of work. It may or may not be successful. So James is kind of disheartened by this. Like, I'm in the elevator business, my family. I know where my money's coming from, but now I'm not sure if I even want to do this. He also promised um, her family that he would be a good provider, he would give them grandbabies, and he would learn their language. And he's done none of that. He's decided he wants no kids. And last minute, a week before the trip, he finally tells I think his brother and his wife that, hey, I'm leaving to Indonesia next week. And they're kind of floored by this information. He did this previously with this another marriage, which I'm like, oh, this guy's been married before. Okay, back and this person wanted him to go to Florida, leave their state, go to Florida, uproot the family business. He was one of the main people in the family business, and he kind of uprooted that to go with this person. Their marriage didn't even last a year, or it did last about a year, and that's it. So it seems like James kind of has a pattern here. He likes to drop bombs on people last minute. To me, he seems like he procrastinates. He does a lot of things last minute. He's fearful. He kind of operates in fear. Um, to me, I feel like he needs some help and he needs some work with that. He wants to do what his partner wants, but then he wants to please his family. And I get the fact of, being there for your family and being a part of the family business. I have some similarities to that and not wanting to let your family down. They're in need and, you want to just help support them as a family member. Uh, and sometimes you can feel a little bit pigeonholed in that position, in that situation. Like, you know, I have to help them. This is my family. But, if you really made the true decision that you're going to leave everything behind, it's not a last minute thing that you do. It would have been more thoughtful if he would have planned at least months in advance, told the family, say, last time when I left you guys in a lurch, there was no one that could fill my position, but he could look for someone to possibly fill his position so his family won't be left in a lurch. They won't be caught off by surprise. And it would just be a little bit more respectful and a little bit easier on them and maybe a little bit easier on him. He doesn't like to break news to people. Like, okay, so Tata wants a kid, but um, one of her friends or their mutual friends breaks the news that he's scared about having kids. Again, he's not transparent. He doesn't sound like he would make a good partner. He's very emotional, and I can tell he really loves Tata. They really care about each other. He's crying when she's at the airport and has to leave. They have this romantic goodbye. They're both boo-hooing. He seems like a very emotional guy, but he doesn't know how to step up as a man. I'm sorry, James. This is just my thoughts on the situation. If you're going to make a decision, you have to stand firm on it. And he's just not that person. And I can't even just say as a man, though I believe men lead our relationships as couples, but as a woman, you also can't be that indecisive type because you can also ruin the relationship if you don't stand on, you tell one person one thing, one person another, kind of that people pleasing complex. But at the end of the day, it's all going to fall apart, James. I mean, you can't please everyone. You have to make a decision, make a choice, and do the best preparation you can to make it easier on all parties involved. But it's too late now. You're going to be going to Indonesia in a week, and your family's going to be left in a lurch. Um, you may not have kids with your wife because and he cites COVID. He's like, well, ever since COVID, at first when we were talking, I was up for kids, but since COVID, I don't even think I want to have kids. And like, okay, you have a point, but still, he's just to me all over the place, procrastinating, fearful, indecisive. And even though he looks like he has some good qualities, I don't see him, being a cheater at this time. I don't see him um, being a slacker. He works and he does what he needs to do. But in his decision making, it's kind of whack. So I don't know how they're going to be able to move forward. She's very emotional. He's very emotional. She's crying every 5 seconds and he's crying every 10 seconds. So I don't know what they're going to do moving forward. They are the most interesting couple to me at this point. We're going to see as things move forward. There's more couples ahead. But at this point in time, I think they have caught my interest. And then also Corona and Inky, which was in the last episode. They're also pretty interesting to me as well. And I do actually have to say, Josh and Lily, where Josh is going to uproot his life and Lily's going to be the breadwinner for them in China. That's also interesting as well. So I got like about three couples that kind of want to see what's going to happen with them. Um, Joanne and Sean, I haven't seen their story yet. When it comes to Statler and Dempsey, it's not looking that entertaining to me. And then when I look at Shekinah and Sarper, and from the stories I've heard, it looks like we're going to be going through kind of the same cycle that we went through in past spin-offs when it comes to these two. So, hmm, let's see what's gonna happen on the other way. Thoughts, comments, connect with me. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. This one was a brief one, guys, but I think it was a good chat. What did you think? Let's always connect. Let me know. Comment. We're all about faith, love, and trends right here on CBiz Media. This is Irene. All the best. God bless. Talk to you next time.